Hey there, it's Bijal, and welcome to Be Epic today. And my guest today is a very dear and actually older friend of mine, not older in age, but older in terms of the time we've known each other. I think it's almost going on a decade, and that's Norma Hollis. Norma, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, BJL. It's always good to be in your presence. Thanks for having me.
Well, this is a very special episode because I know that you have a very special workshop coming up this weekend. So we're going to touch upon that in just a moment. But you are a specialist in the topic of authenticity. So let's start there. And the other part of today, when we're talking about your authentic superpower, two of my favorite words when you combine authenticity with superpower. And I'm very curious to see how you brought these two things together and why you feel it's so important that people discover their authentic superpower. But more importantly, how do we use it? How do we use it to help others and also to achieve greater success in our life? But let's start with the topic of authenticity. Again, we've done an interview before, Norma, but this is a recap because I believe it's such an important topic, especially for this time. So can you share with us, first of all, what is authenticity and why do you feel now more than ever we need to step back and really understand what this word means for each one of us?
Well, authenticity is a word that's become very popular in our society and is often misused as words can be when they're new and powerful. And, we wouldn't be talking about authenticity unless we had so much inauthenticity in the world. And I look at authenticity, I connect it with self-awareness because I feel that everyone was born with a unique set of gifts and talents that makes them authentic, that makes them truly who they are. And unfortunately, in our journey through life, we lose that from the early time in our preschool years when we're told not to sing so loud or talk so loud, and that's our gift, but that's what we do, but it's just loud, all the way through staying in our cubicles when we're in school and not able to go to the bathroom when we want to go, and all the way to the cubicles we stay in our jobs. And we get on autopilot, doing in society what society dictates or what people think might be right for us, and not really going inside of ourselves and deciding what our true passion is and what is it we really want to do with our lives other than make a living and make money. So often we go into life thinking, well, I can just get this job and make this money. And then we find out that that job is not something that we like. And we get stuck in that. So being authentic to me is really stepping into the gifts and talents that you were born with, the person that you were intended to be, and actually being that person with sincerity, with genuineness, with thoughtfulness, and with a focus on the common good of being good to yourself and to other people.
So I have a question. How is authenticity different from, say, telling the truth or honesty? How do you differentiate these two?
Well, I don't know that I do differentiate them. I think telling the truth is a part of being authentic. It's very hard to, if you're an authentic person, it's very hard to not tell the truth. And at least, and now truth now can be bent in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of reasons for sometimes bending it and moving with it. But in basically in life, being authentic means your purpose, your focus is on the common good. Your focus is on being sincere. It's not focused on deceiving people. It's built on trust. It's built on the things that build on life and make life a better place, not built on things that destroy life and move people apart, but bring it together. And I think that's so much needed in what we're going through in society right now, because the people who I think survive it and survive it well are the ones who are more authentic. When you are authentic, you can make the adjustments in your life that need to make in spite of the challenges that are going on, because there's change and challenges all around us, and every day is like it's something new. But when you're authentic, when you know who you are, you can use that gift of authenticity to maneuver through the challenges and to find your path and find your way without losing sight of who you are.
So Norma, so I with Star Wars folklore and the concept of the light side and dark side. And the dark side, I often when I hear you speak, remind me of inauthenticity, right? And so And when I think of the dark side, I think of the lure of inauthenticity, and especially in God, the marketing world today, where you see a lot of inauthentic marketing, with the use of, uh, say, fast cars, private jets, mansions, but it's not true to who a person is. Why do you feel that inauthenticity has become so rampant in the marketing and business world today? Is it the lure of fast cash? Where is this stemming from?
I think it's clearly the lure of fast cash, the lure of doing as little possible to make as much as possible, and sometimes the lure of doing it, by all means, any means necessary at all costs. When you don't care about other people, when you care and put money before people, then that ends up being a problem. I have several sayings, and one of them is authenticity puts people before profit. Authenticity puts people before property. And these are some of the things that we've been going through and what we're dealing with in society right now. And clearly, it has to do with a difference in values. True authenticity to me is tied to integrity, it's tied to a set of values that means I'm going to follow and do what's right, not only in my mind and my heart, but for society. And that's what true authenticity means, not just stepping over people, not just being out for yourself, but looking out for the common good. Because, I think we realize now more than ever that we're all in this together. And if a few of us fail, then many of us fail. So it's to our advantage to authentically hold each other up because that's where the success comes, not just for ourselves, but for society as a whole.
So would you say that authenticity is the right path, but not always the easiest path? Meaning that there's I believe the reason choose a more inauthentic approach to business and to marketing is because they feel it's easier to say, twist the truth of what really is. If you know, but if one is going to be true to the or to being authentic, is it a harder path to follow, or do you believe that done correctly, it can be as easy and as rewarding?
It's clearly a hard path to become authentic, particularly when you start out on that path when you're already ingrained in society. You've already created a path, you've made mistakes, you're already doing something that is for the money or whatever and not necessarily for your authentic self. But once you make that transition, then life becomes a lot easier. But when people come to me sometimes for coaching, consulting, and other areas of authenticity, I want to be authentic tomorrow. It doesn't work that way. It
Oh,
is a step, it's a continuous process of one transformation after another. And then all of a sudden you look up and you pretty much transformed your life to be more in align with who you truly are. And that's the process, but it doesn't happen overnight. It happens with deliberate effort, some sacrifice, some planning, some evaluation, a lot of reflection and assessment of who you are, what your path is, what you really want to do, what works, what doesn't work. There's a lot of issues and areas to look at to really become authentic. But if you're devoted to it, if you recognize that that is a viable path, and that being authentic makes your world function better as well as the world of people around you. And then by doing it and being a role model, you end up changing your whole community because you're a role model for being authentic yourself and you impress and touch other people in the same way. And that's when you really see major differences.
I love it. So, with your so when you say authentic superpower, what does that mean, and why do you feel it's important that people discover their authentic superpower?
Well, what I've come to understand is that, first of all of us have a superpower or two or three, and that our superpower is aligned with that authentic part of ourselves. So, for example, if you're a person who's born with a great ability in the verbal area, so you're a writer, you're a speaker, you like to share words and you express things, you're editor, whatever, that's a superpower. That's where you can use that gift to move yourself forward, either in a full-time job, a part-time job, a business and marketing, whatever. But it's an authentic way for you to move. If you're going to move much better as in a verbal role than you are in one that might be math oriented, because that may not be your gift. So once you find out what your authenticity is, what your authentic gift is, your authentic best skill, the best thing you have to offer to the world, that's connected to your superpower. And once you realize that and nurture that, then you can overcome whatever. It may not be easy. Nothing in life comes totally easy. It comes with work, but you're more focused on your work, and you're more focused on the path you're taking and the results that you can attain on that path.
So let me ask you, if you have a authentic superpower, can you then have an inauthentic superpower?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question very well. Would you repeat it again, please?
Yeah, if you can have an authentic superpower, can you also have an inauthentic superpower?
Well, I guess there are some inauthentic superpowers that people have developed and designed. There is a lot of people that end up on paths that are not truly their own, and they don't know how to get off of them. And they may be doing it very well. You think of salespeople, for example, who are the more hardcore. Years ago, that was the only way to do sales. You did hardcore, you pushed people into it. You didn't do it in a more authentic and more gentle and alignment way. So I guess you could get on a path that leads you to be inauthentically authentic in a way that may not serve you well, but eventually you realize that, hopefully, and you make a shift. Certainly, your clients will make you aware of that because if things change, things have shifted, and you have to shift with the changes and make sure your authenticity shifts and your superpowers shift along with it.
So I believe, and it's an opinion, that a lot of people are on a very inauthentic path. Okay, and I think we all at sometimes can fall into this, but I definitely see, and I mean, studying a lot of scams on the internet recently, from Ponzi schemes, cryptocurrency Ponzi schemes, a whole variety of get rich quick things. So there's this kind of prevalent inauthentic um, thread of stuff right now. And I believe why is because it creates possibly fast results. But I also believe that with that approach, there's a huge detriment to long-term contentment and happiness. Can you kind of speak to that? What's your experience been of people who either purposely or accidentally get onto an inauthentic path? It produces results in many cases, but over the long term, I believe it doesn't really give that person what they're looking for. But I believe you may have some more input on your experience of people who choose that inauthentic path for themselves.
Well, absolutely. They may generate dollars and beyond their dreams or what they're looking for, but they're generally missing something in life. Life is not just about money. Life's about relationships. It's about integrity. It's about building alignment with people. Without people in your life, there's not a lot of fun in life. And if you are so inauthentic that you're following the path of cash in such a way that you distance yourself from the people who are valuable, then you're having a very lonely life. You may have a lot of money, but I know a lot of people with a lot of money that are not happy. And that's part of what that happens. So most people that I meet want a more fulfilled life. They want a meaningful life. They want a life that has multiple aspects to it that are satisfying. Money is just one of those aspects. In my process, I talk about the importance of net wealth. And net wealth is not the net of your money, but the net of your abundance and what gives you abundance in life. So knowing what gives you abundance, whether it's family, spirituality, universality, your goals, your job, your passions, you have to know that and live with that. If your only passion is making money, then you have a very shallow life and a very short-lived experiences.
So, Norma, what do you feel is the source of inauthenticity? Earlier, I mentioned that there's authenticity and honesty go together, and then does inauthenticity and deception also go together? Because in a lot of the parenting classes I did very early on, my kids are very kind of grown up now, but I remember in some of the parenting classes we went through, they impressed upon us the importance of being authentic and honest with children, and not using even white lies as a way of parenting our kids. And we did our very best to kind of stick to that. But I see a lot of parents, and they use a lot of white lies, storytelling that is just kind of designed to get kids to do things. Hey, if you don't do this, we're going to leave you behind. It comes across very, silly stuff. But I believe that deception is and I'm using that word kind of very liberally here, is used very early on in a child's life. Does that have any connection, do you feel, to the spread of inauthenticity in the culture in general?
Well, absolutely, it does. You may not know that my degree's in early childhood, and that was where I spent my first career in early childhood. And that might be one of the things that got me on this path in the first place, because yes, the things that we as children receive and are fed are the things that we choose to believe and the values that we live with and accept early in life. Oftentimes, those values and beliefs are not really who we are because we come to the planet with our own set of gifts and talents and in many ways our own beliefs. But when we're fed certain things that are not right for us, in some essence, in some part of our energy, it sits there uncomfortably and gnaws at us until we figure out what it is that's wrong. And sometimes it takes decades to figure that out. So, with the things what happens with children, particularly before the age of 5, stays with a child pretty much forever. And getting past that is truly a challenge. So these white lies, my father was one who told joke lies and confused me for a long time. I mean, one of his little joke lies was, there's two United States. One is U period S period A, and one has no periods, and it's called USA. Now I'm a young kid. I know it sounds crazy now, but I believe that, and it confused me. I'm very idealistic and very naive at the time. And even that little joke that he told, that most people probably realize as the reality of it, caused this young, naive child to be very confused for a long time. I finally figured it out and got past it and realized my father's sense of humor, and it was fine. But it just confused me for years. And then he wasn't trying to be inauthentic by any means, he was just making jokes. But we don't always realize the way our children receive things from us, even when we're doing the best that we can. Still, sometimes children remember things that you've forgotten so long ago and had no idea it had an impact. So it really makes a difference for parents who are wise enough to be sensitive to their children's responses. And while no parent can be perfect, you're always going to do something that a child's going to complain about along the way. You want to feel as if you're doing the best you can so that that child can be the best they can as they get older and not be confused.
Why do you think people fear being authentic? Norma? What do you
Why do people what?
Why do you think people fear being authentic? Do you think there's because we grow up in a culture of white lies are okay? If it's going to help close a sale or bring in more leads, because again, we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, both myself and you. And there's some marketers who will say, yeah, it's like, it's not a lie, it's just a stretch of the truth. How there's justifications for the inauthenticity. But why do you believe people buy into inauthenticity, and two, why do people resist then the path back to authenticity and your topic, which is basically finding their authentic superpower? Do you find that people are afraid of being authentic? I'm just curious to see what you've discovered.
Well, there is a lot of fear about being authentic. I think a lot has to do with ego and the values and beliefs that we're fed as children. I used to do a program, a labyrinth walk, which is a meditative walk, and I did it at a marketplace on several weekends, once a year. And it's what interests me so much when the children would come to the labyrinth, which is a pure experience of self-awareness. And they would, Mommy, I want to go on this. And I would tell the parents, well, when families walk together, families are strengthened. And families, they were scared to walk it. Let my kid go. Or they would ask me questions like, how can you have a sign in here for a Christian and a Muslim at the same place? So there's so much fear that people feel by what they've been fed and told, and how they get on autopilot believing them. People don't always do the research on things. They believe what's told to them, and they follow those belief times for years and years and years without even evaluating to see if those beliefs are truly aligned with themselves. And so they may be doing something and doing it in such a way that their heart's not in it. They're doing it inauthentically, but because it seems in their mind to be necessary, or somehow their ego has been taught to believe that this is the thing to do because that's what society says or whatever, and they just fall in the path. They just fall in the trap. I think that's a lot of the way that society is set up for us to fall in the trap and follow the masses and follow what the instructions are that society gives you, even when they don't fit for you personally. So it's everyone's personal responsibility to go look deeper within yourself and know who you are and know what your true authenticity is. People that don't do that, I think those are the ones that end up with the illnesses and the challenges and the strokes and the cancer and the stresses that are so common in our society. So, in my mind, being authentic and coming into your own authenticity has numerous benefits, from your health to your state of mind to your spirituality to your success to your superpower. And so, knowing your superpower, it helps you to overcome all of that and be the person you were born to be.
I love that. We can't control how authentic government is, how authentic politics is, how authentic the media chooses to be, but we can choose how authentic we are as individuals. We can choose our authentic path, and we can choose to discover our authentic superpower. So that leads me to the upcoming workshop, Norma. Tell us more about the workshop, who should attend, what they should expect to learn, and why it's going to be such an important use of their time.
Well, I'm looking for two groups of people. I'm looking for people who are seeking calm and peace in this time of challenge in the world. People are anxious, they're fearful, they're disappointed, they're confused. There's so many emotions going on that are causing tension and confusion in people and moving them sometimes in decisions that are inauthentic for them. So I would like them to take part because they can learn more about themselves. I'm going to be featuring 9 speakers who are going to tell stories about how they've come to their superpower in different areas. And you're going to take an assessment to identify where your strengths are that represent your superpowers and where your challenges are, where you can just tweak one thing to overcome those. And we're going to talk about that and take you there. And the second people I'm looking for are speakers and coaches and trainers who would like to add a new product to their services, because I certify the speakers. The ones who are speaking on Saturday are being certified in those cases to speak on this topic using the tools that I've created and products that I've created as a side business for them to move forward in helping other people become more authentic. Either as a speaker, speaking it, giving events like this. I teach you how to do an event like what I'm doing, and also as a coach to coach others in the process that I offer in the authenticity grid and the authenticity assessment. So if you're someone looking to get unconfused, to get more enlightened, to be more confident and more authentic about who you are and what your place is in the world, to take you away from some of the confusion and the craziness that we're all experiencing, or if you're looking to help others to do that, that's people I'm looking for to be a part of our program on Saturday.
And is it a program?
Is it what?
Is there a cost to the program?
No, actually, the program is free. I was going to add a cost, but I decided that it's so important that people get this information that I really want them to come and learn it. And if you want to go further, I have classes for you and certification programs and other things like that. But just come in the door and connect with your authenticity and your superpower. You will be amazed at the joy you'll have, the things you'll discover about yourself, the superpower you'll realize you have, the people you'll meet, the lessons you'll learn, the inspiration you'll leave with, and then the confidence and the courage to move forward with whatever it is you're doing in your life.
Excellent. Norma, is there a URL that you can share that people can go and register at?
Yes, register at Ticket to Joy, tickettojoy.com. And you'll learn more about the program. You'll see part of my interview with Les Brown. He interviewed me about the program. And you'll meet the speakers who are speaking and get a chance to register for free and be a part of our event on Saturday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern.
Well, I wish you well in the event, Norma. I'm looking forward to learning more about it as well. But for now, as we say, Norma, at the end of this show, it's time to buzz off. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you so much, Bijel. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.